The ending of Rise of Skywalker has proven to only add more fuel to the divisive fire that exists within fans and viewers of Star Wars, especially when in regards to the sequel trilogy. It is in this trilogy that we see interesting new Force abilities present themselves on the big screen. However, we also see other more radical implementations appear to kind of seem almost like plot cop-outs, things that kind of break the canon in order to facilitate the plot. Rey reflecting Palpatine's lightning with her lightsaber is a huge example of this, as in Star Wars canon, there's only one Jedi who actually managed to do this, and let me tell you, it was not Rey. During the final confrontation in The Rise of Skywalker, Rey and Palpatine have a standoff, where Palpatine proclaims that he is all of the Sith, while Rey has all of the voices of the Jedi reach out to her, thus causing her to also state that she is all of the Jedi. Now, there are two implications of this. The first is, of course, that it is a metaphor. They are the ultimate culminations of each respective side of the Force, and all of the Jedi that reached out to Rey helped her realize this. Now, given the scenario as it is, there's absolutely no way Rey should have been able to beat Palpatine if this scenario is depicted strictly like that. One, just because she accidentally can use Force lightning and is his granddaughter does not equal to her being able to reflect the lightning back at him. Note that I said reflect, not absorb. This is actually a very hard feat to accomplish, with only Yoda and Windu being able to have done this against Sith in Star Wars established canon. Yoda was able to do this with an ability called Tutaminis. This ability allowed a Force user to absorb energy that was directed at them and nullify it completely or channel it back toward the source. Rey did not have this ability. The other way she could have reflected it back at Palpatine is through Vapad. Keep in mind, I said reflect, not absorb. Windu was able to do this against Palpatine during Episode 3 because of his Vapad lightsaber form, which channeled the raw power emanating from Palpatine back into the dark circuit that was the Sith Lord himself, as this lightsaber form was proficient at channeling one's own passion and aggression while also turning these aspects against the opponent as well. Rey definitely was not a practitioner of Vapad. To add on to this fact, in the Plagueis novel, which to be fair is considered non-canon, but seeing as to how certain aspects of the novel is canon, since they are brought up and talked about in the canon Tarkin novel, I think that this next topic is worth noting. Palpatine's lightning that Windu reflected in Episode 3 was weaker than it was in both Episodes 6 and 9. The reason why is because when Palpatine was studying under Plagueis, Plagueis stated that in order for one to master Force lightning, one must be struck by the full unharnessed power of it. Only then will they truly master Force lightning. In Episode 3, Windu reflected Palpatine's not yet fully mastered lightning during this process and still struggled to do so. But after Anakin disarms him, he is hit by Palpatine's fully mastered lightning, which we can see the effects of. My point being that Windu struggled to reflect Palpatine's lightning before Palpatine actually mastered it. But now, Rey can somehow reflect his lightning that is so powerful that it can conjure a Force storm? Man, that second lightsaber she pulls out must have been imbued with some sort of magic. The magic of plot armor. But let's move on to the second implication. What if what she said regarding her being all of the Jedi was not a metaphor and was actually fact? What if instead of her being able to reflect Sidious's lightning, it wasn't her and it was actually the Jedi flowing through her? Well, by this sense, she would have Windu's Vapad. But again, it begs the question, would it have been powerful enough to actually withstand Palpatine's lightning at this level? In the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which again to keep everything fair, it's considered non-canon, but it still gives us a reference, Palpatine supposedly drains Windu's defenses to the point of exhaustion with his Force lightning. He ceases his attack right before Windu almost collapses from fatigue. So, the fact that she's able to reflect the lightning back at Sidious, even with the various other Jedi pulling their strength through her that might have also had a bit of knowledge of Vapad, it doesn't seem like this is a likely scenario. There also weren't many Jedi that were practitioners of Vapad, and let me tell you, the ones that were practitioners were nowhere even close to Windu's level in canon. Also, the fact that Force Ghosts can apparently pool their powers into conduits seems kind of a bit overpowered, doesn't it? This is an ability that didn't even exist in canon prior to this movie, and literally just seems like a cop-out to further the messy plot of the sequel trilogy as is, because it is simply the only way that Rey will ever be able to beat Darth Sidious. In this sense, Force ghosts seem less like corporeal phantoms that offer their advice after becoming one with the Force, but more like overpowered spirits that can activate their abilities through an avatar whenever they wish. Like, if I were in their shoes, I wouldn't mind dying in Order 66 because then I could just pull my power back into a new conduit in the future so I can avenge myself. Again, I appreciate Force powers like Force healing being brought onto the big screen. And even Force ghosts being able to ignite fires like Yoda in The Last Jedi or Luke raising the X-Wing. All these actions are okay in my book. I'm not too happy with it, but I'm not like really too much against it because they don't really have too big of an impact on the plot. But when it's something as critical as an Avatar Jedi, that's when things get a bit too surreal. Regardless, in either scenario, Rey should not have won. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button as more content is coming in the future. Unfortunately, I am currently in the midst of college work, but I absolutely love Star Wars and I love YouTube, so I'll keep these videos coming whenever I can. Once again, guys, this is Crucial, and until next time, everyone, I will see you all later.